There's a lot of hockey tomorrow, and it starts early, so I'm up late so I can get the preview up and all set with a decent amount of views, especially for fans in Europe who might be like, hey, what kind of hockey can I watch tomorrow? So there's some matinees in here, and we'll see how they turn out, but I'm going to go in an order that's just the way that my app tells me to do it. Which is why Boston and Vancouver games will show up earlier on the board, because those are the teams I've got set as interest, as well as Florida, surprisingly. And that really hasn't changed even despite Florida's poor start. First up, Montreal. So the Habs, they're in against Boston tomorrow. Habs are 5-2-2. Boston 6-2-2. I'll be honest, it's a bad matchup for Boston. I really believe that. I'm not just saying that because of the history videos, which of course you all watched, right? Yeah, Boston-Montreal is usually a bad matchup for Boston. It's a home game, and I'm going to say right now, I expect Montreal to win this game. I do. I think Boston's played erratically. I think Montreal's played relatively well, and I think that I could see Price going in and just stealing it. I could see Price making 32 saves on 33 shots. They win the game 4-1, and then Montreal fans telling me how bad of a person I am because I cheer for Boston. That's usually what happens, right? All right, on the Montreal side of things, Domi with 4 goals and 6 assists leads the way. Petrie a goal and 8 assists. Tatar with 3 goals and 5 assists. Paul Byron with 4 goals and 3 assists. Jonathan Drouin, 3 goals and 4 assists. Gallagher, 5 goals and an assist. Lakin, a goal and 5 assists. And Armia with 2 goals and 2 assists. What stands out with Montreal? Spread out scoring. There isn't any one guy you can shut down and shut them out. On Boston's side, it's not the same. Bergeron, 7 goals, 9 assists. Pasternak, 10 goals, 5 assists. Marchand, 2 goals and 11 assists. If you shut them down, you have a very good chance of beating Boston. Rest of their scoring on this chart: Krejci, 2 goals and 7 assists. McAvoy, a goal and 5 assists. Grzelcyk with 5 assists. Chara with 3 goals and an assist. And DeBrusk with 3 goals. Goaltending, if you're going to compare the goaltenders: Price, 2.48 goals against, 906 save percentage. Niemi, 3.26 goals against, 898 save percentage. On the Boston side of things, Halak, 1.43 goals against, 945 save percentage. Whereas Tuukka Rask, 3.38 goals against, 901 save percentage. And I got a bad feeling Rask is going to play tomorrow night. Just something tells me. If we look at the teams and compare them, Montreal's goals for, goals against are 29-25. Boston's are 34-24. Special teams, power play for Montreal, 19.4%. Penalty kills at 74.2%. For a total of 93.6. Boston's power play, 31%. Penalty kill, 77.4%. For a total of 108.4. The gaudy totals have started to drop. We're starting to get into a more realistic number. 31%, though, is high, and I expect that to come down. Boston really is one of those top-heavy teams when it comes to scoring. 19 goals from that first line. If they shut that first line down, Montreal has an excellent shot. On the Boston side of things, if they can pepper as many shots as they can on the Montreal net, frustrate that defense, Boston has an excellent shot there. I think it's going to be a fun game. I have that feeling that somehow it's not going to work out so well for Boston fans. Vancouver is at home against Pittsburgh tomorrow night. Vancouver's 6-5. Pittsburgh's 5-1-2. And Pittsburgh's really started hitting their stride. They've started putting up a ton of goals. And, they're coming off that 9-1 win over Calgary, which is kind of special. That's kind of a big total. And people have been pointing out since that, too, that Pittsburgh did lose against Chicago like 10-1 last year. And in the end, it didn't really make a difference to how things ended up. It just looked really bad for Pittsburgh. Looked bad for Niemi. Niemi ended up being run out of town in part because of that game. But anyways, on the Pittsburgh side of things right now, Malkin leads the way with 3 goals and 12 assists. He's got 15 points in 7 games. But again, I talk enough about Malkin. I don't need to get dragged into that argument right now. Kessel, 6 goals and 6 assists. Letang, 4 goals and 7 assists. He's had an excellent start. Crosby, suddenly on the board, 3 goals, 7 assists. 10 points in 8 games. It's fine, though. Oh, yeah, Malkin, it's 8 games with 15 points. Yeah, screw Malkin. He sucks. Hornqvist, 4 goals and 2 assists. Gensel, 5 goals for him. Simone with a goal and 4 assists. And Brassard with a goal and 4 assists as well. On the Vancouver side of things, Bo Horvat, 7 goals and 2 assists. Peterson, 5 goals and 3 assists. Baertschi, 3 goals and 3 assists. Besser with 2 goals and 4 assists. Stetcher with a goal and 4 assists. And Stetcher's quietly had a good start to the season. Defensively, yes, he sometimes scares me, but he's had a decent start. Edler with 5 assists. Sutter with 3 goals and an assist. And there's Virtanen with 2 goals and 2 assists. Virtanen, for the sake of pointing it out, is on pace right now for about 30 points. In net, DeSmith, 2.58 goals against, 922 save percentage. Matt Murray, and after the slaughtering that his goals against and save percentage took early in the year, it's worthy of note that he's now at 3.37 for goals against and a 910 save percentage. So he's brought that back quite a bit. Not that he'll get credit for it, because Murray won't get credit for anything, and everybody will wait for the playoffs, and then if he falters, well, I'll dive on him. In the Vancouver net, Nelson, 2.67 goals against, 912 save percentage. Markstrom, 2.93 goals against, 911 save percentage. Markstrom's been good his last couple of games. Nilsson's been okay as well. I think the thing for Vancouver with goaltending is I think they're going to split the stars between Nilsson and Markstrom for the season. Neither one of them are game stealers. We're not going to talk a lot about how, the Canucks should have lost that, but this game was stolen by their goaltenders. And it's worthy of note. Pittsburgh, thanks to that 9-1 victory, they now have a 35-25 goal differential. Vancouver's got a 30-35 goal differential, so they're a -5 on that. Power plays, Pittsburgh 35%, 86.4% penalty kill for a total of 121.4. That's fantastic. Vancouver, 20% power play, 83.7% penalty kill, 103.7 overall. Most of their power plays injured. So I don't know what to expect tomorrow night from Vancouver, but I'd be very surprised if Vancouver manages to score a win over Pittsburgh, since Pittsburgh's coming in after the sweep in Alberta. But you know what? Stranger things have happened, and Pittsburgh's been... They're tough to figure out, because as good as Pittsburgh has looked in the Alberta games, they've looked just as bad some other nights. So we'll see what they do tomorrow in Vancouver. It's an unpredictable game. Next up, Florida. Florida and Jersey. Florida is 2-3-3. Jersey's 4-2-1. Jersey's an interesting story. So they win their first 4 games of the year, and everybody's on their bandwagon, myself included. Now they've lost 3 in a row. I have not jumped off of any bandwagons with Jersey. I still think they're playing well. Tomorrow, this is a good test. Florida's a team that loses a lot. They don't lose a lot in regulation. They've only lost 3 out of 8 in regulation. They've lost 6 out of 8 altogether, but 3 of those are in overtime or shootouts. They've won 2, one of those being a shootout. So, Florida, hard to pin down exactly what's going to happen here. Dadonov, 4 goals, 5 assists. Trocheck, 3 goals and 5 assists. Barkov, 2 goals and 6 assists. Keith Yandel with a goal and 7 assists. Huberdeau with 2 goals and 5 assists. Hoffman, 4 goals and 2 assists. He's quietly having a good season. Bugstad, 2 goals and 2 assists. And Frankie Vetrano, 3 goals for him. On the New Jersey side of things, Palmieri, 7 goals and 4 assists. He's the guy who's playing really well you're not hearing about. Hall, 1 goal and 9 assists. Heischer, 3 goals and 3 assists. Severson, 2 goals and 4 assists. Boyle with 3 goals and an assist. Zajac still has 2 goals and 2 assists. And Vatanen and Butcher are tied with 4 assists. And seriously, Palmieri's played pretty well to start the season. 11 points in 7 games. Not bad. In net, Florida's goaltending has been a misadventure. Reimer, 3.46 goals against, 877 save percentage. That is not good. Hutchinson's been worse with a 4.18 goals against and 839 save percentage. This team desperately needs Luongo tomorrow morning. Kincaid has started and played every minute for the New Jersey Devils. 2.14 goals against, 921 save percentage. He'll play till Schneider's for sure 100% and ready to go. Goal differentials, Florida's at 25-30. They're only 5 goals below. They're at the same goal differential as the Canucks. Shows they're not playing badly. They're just not getting any breaks. New Jersey, goal differential of 25-18. Power plays, Florida 16.7%. Their penalty kill 66.7 for a total of 83.4. New Jersey's power play 29%. Penalty kill 86.2% for a total of 115.2. So it comes down to special teams. New Jersey has the advantage. If they can keep it to 5-on-5 play, Florida can send this into overtime and lose it in a shootout. That seems to be the way that their games are going right now. And, I want to have magic words for what's going on with Florida, but it's weird because the scoring's there, the defense is there. It feels a lot like St. Louis, that this is a matter of they're either giving up way too many fantastic opportunities or their goaltending just isn't up to par. And whichever one that it is, they are flirting with being out of this by early November. And it's hard to dig your way out of that hole once you get into it. Next up, Winnipeg and Toronto. So here's your game of the night. And I'm just looking at the board. Yeah, I'll go out on a limb and say this will be the game of the night because we got Colorado, Minnesota coming up too, but that's usually a lopsided game. This one's going to be interesting because Toronto won in Winnipeg. Winnipeg, of course, won tonight in Detroit. Now they move on to Toronto, so Toronto's more rested than Winnipeg. Watch for Toronto to build steam as the game goes along, if Winnipeg's showing signs of being tired. On the Winnipeg side of things, Scheifele leads the scoring in 5 goals, 6 assists. Connor with 5 goals and 5 assists. Wheeler 2 goals and 8 assists. Morrissey and Trouba with a goal and 6 assists each. Byfuglien 2 goals and 6 assists. Lowry with 4 goals and an assist. And there's Patrick Laine, 3 goals and 2 assists. They desperately need him to get going. On the Toronto side of things, Matthews 10 goals and 6 assists. And when we're looking at Laine and Matthews right next to each other, can we stop having the conversation about who's better between Laine and Matthews? Because right now, this season, it's not close. And Matthews hasn't scored in a while, and Laine's not catching up. Anyways, Riley, 4 goals and 10 assists. Marner, 4 goals and 9 assists. Tavares, 7 goals and 5 assists for him. Kapanen, 5 goals and 4 assists. He's still calling Nylander and saying, hardball, play hardball. Don't worry about where I am in the lineup. Gardner, 6 assists. Kadri, 1 goal and 4 assists. And Marleau also has a goal and 4 assists. Kadri scored. I expect him to go on a little bit of a run here. And maybe that'll quiet the media. Who am I kidding? It's the Toronto media. If he gets on a goal-scoring binge, they're going to say, Kadri, should we trade him? He's scoring too much. Anyways, on the Winnipeg side of things in net, Brossoit, 1.68 goals against, 957 save percentage. Hellebuck, 2.99 goals against, 907 save percentage. On the Toronto side of things, Anderson, 2.66 goals against, 916 save percentage. I saw an article today saying, should Anderson be in the hunt for the Vezina this year? What? Anyways, so weird. There are so many goaltenders with better stats, but not only that, we're only 10 games into the year. Can we not have this argument yet? I've made the argument in favor of Gibson only because I think that John Gibson doesn't get the attention that he should from the media. He doesn't get the respect that he should from the media. The idea that Anderson right now, he should be in the... No, not yet. He's played well. Okay, back up. He's had a good October. He hasn't... He's not the best goalie in the league yet. Just relax. I swear. Sparks, 3.50 goals against, 892 save percentage. I want to say in defense of Toronto fans, I've not seen a Toronto fan at all this year saying Freddie Anderson should be Vezina nominee. Why are you talking about other goalies? Freddie's clearly the best. For me, Gibson, Vasilevsky, probably the front runners right now. If Crawford keeps playing the way that he has been since he came back, he'll get into that conversation. And there are others. Doesn't mean that a goaltender's bad, though. Don't get me wrong. On the goal differential side of things, Toronto's at 38-32. Winnipeg's only at 33-29, which is surprising that they're only 4 goals ahead of that curve, and Toronto 6 ahead. Power plays 30.3% for Winnipeg, 81.6% penalty kill for a total of 111.9. On the Toronto side of things, 36% power play, 82.1% penalty kill, 118.1 overall. So, good showing for Toronto on this board, but a good showing for Winnipeg as well. If a bunch of power plays show up in this game, it'll be interesting to see which team's power play manages to potentially steal the game. Next up. Okay, Islanders, 3-4-1, Philly, 4-6. You guys are both on the clock. Whoever loses this game is officially in trouble. And I'm still giving Philly the benefit of the doubt, but only just barely, and right now my power rankings board isn't really giving them the benefit of the doubt. The board's kind of a jerk sometimes. But I will say I'm not writing off Philly yet, and I'll get to why. On the scoring side of things, Barzal leads the way for the Islanders with a goal and 7 assists. Bailey with 2 goals and 5 assists. Filppula with 4 goals and 2 assists. Cizikas, 3 goals and 2 assists. Lee with 2 goals and 3 assists. Mayfield, a goal and 4 assists. Nelson with 3 goals and an assist. Ladd with 2 goals and 2 assists. And conspicuous by his absence is Eberle. Because all last year all we heard about was how stupid Edmonton was for trading Eberle. I'm fine with Hall being held up as a guy that Edmonton shouldn't have traded. But Eberle, I think, is a good player. I don't know that I put him in the great category. And I don't know that not having Eberle last year was the difference between the Edmonton Oilers being in or out of the playoffs. But that's just me. On the Philly side of things, Voracek 3 goals and 9 assists. Giroux with 3 goals and 8 assists. Simmons with 6 goals and 1 assist. Lawton with 4 goals and an assist. Konechny 2 goals, 3 assists. Konechny's been close lately. He's had some pretty good games. So I think his scoring will come up. Haig 2 goals, 3 assists, and both Sanheim and Gudas have 5 assists to their name. Goaltending is better for the Islanders than expected. Greiss 2.59 goals against, 918 save percentage, and there's that Robin Lehner 2.67 goals against and a 926 save percentage. The change in venue has been good for Lehner. On the Philly side of things, Elliott 3.39 goals against, 896 save percentage. Elliott's numbers are getting better. They're still not stellar. They're still not fantastic, but they're getting better. And if Elliott can keep getting better and some of the players that have kind of snake bit on the Flyers start getting the puck to go in the net, they have every chance of going on a bit of a run here. Pickard, 4.75 goals against, 833 save percentage. Goal differentials, the Islanders are being outscored 23-22. The Flyers 40-30. So they've allowed 40 goals, and that is in basically their problem. They're scoring 3 per game. They're allowing 4 per game. You don't win that way. Special teams, the Islanders going along at a 21.7% clip on the power play, 75% on the penalty kill for a total of 96.7. The Flyers special teams are pretty bad on paper, 16.2% power play, 67.6% penalty kill, added up on paper, and it adds up to 83.8% overall. So both teams below average. We'll see if we have a high scoring game here, and that could happen. The Flyers have been in a few high scoring games already this year. And again, whichever team wins this game, I'm willing to say, all right, they're not done yet. The one that loses this game, I might be ready to say, yeah, they might be finished. Next up, Oilers 4-3-1, Nashville 8-2. You know, before the season started, I knew the Oilers weren't going to be as bad as last year. Now I'm not saying they're a playoff team, but man, there were a lot of people who said, "Oh, they're no good. Their defense sucks." Larson's a good defenseman, and he's been playing better this year than last year. But why let that get in the way of a good story? Edmonton's scoring, and I I keep mentioning how anytime there's a goal that doesn't include McDavid, that's kind of news. And there's a reason. Look at their top scorers. I'm not making this up. McDavid, 6 goals and 8 assists. Nugent Hopkins, 3 goals and 8 assists. Plays on a line with McDavid. And there's Draisaitl with 4 goals and 4 assists. And a lot of those points for Draisaitl are on the power play with McDavid. Then you've got, next on the scoring list, Chason with 3 goals. They rely too much on McDavid. It's just what it is. And they're 4-3-1. They're playing well. But really, realistically, McDavid is dragging them. Nurse, 1 goal, 2 assists. Lucic, 1 goal, 2 assists. Larson and Russell both have 3 assists for the Oilers. So that's where they're at. Their number 4 leading scorer is on pace for 31 points this year. It's quite the depth, the drop off between number 1 and everybody below it. McDavid is basically, if this Oilers team makes the playoffs, McDavid gets legend status, wins the Hart, and going away. Forsberg leads the way for the Nashville Predators, 7 goals and 4 assists. Arvidsson, 7 goals and 3 assists. Johansson, 2 goals, 8 assists. Turris with 2 goals, 6 assists, same as Ekholm. Subban, 2 goals and 5 assists. Ellis with 6 assists. And then there's Craig Smith with 4 goals and an assist. So 2 guys with 7 goals, and then you've got some with 2 and 1 with 4 at the bottom. Bit more of a mix with Nashville, but again, Arvidsson and Forsberg are really driving the offense there, and it'll be interesting to see how long it takes before. Is Turris ever going to get back to a 30-goal pace? It's a question I've been asking myself since he got there. In net, of course, for Edmonton, Talbot's played every minute, 2.88 goals against and a 901 save percentage. On the Nashville side, Rene still has a 2.11 goals against, 929 save percentage. And I say still because he's been out with a concussion. Saros, 2.47 goals against, 918 save percentage. And if you look at goal differentials, Edmonton's been outscored 26-22. The Nashville Predators have scored 35 and allowed 23. Special teams, that favors Edmonton on paper. 29.6% power play, 77.3% penalty kill for a total of 106.9. Nashville's side of things, 11.4% power play, 72.4% penalty kill for a total of 83.8. This is an interesting matchup in that you have the best team in the West, and I don't think I'm telling any tales to say that, against a team that is trying to establish themselves as one of the better teams in the West, and has to be looking right now at that Pacific Division and saying, you know what, this is winnable. We can get in there. We can win this division. Anaheim's not playing well. Vancouver is not going to be able to maintain a 6 wins out of every 10 games kind of pace. San Jose has had stops and starts along the way. The division is there for the taking. So we'll see whether or not Edmonton can go in and put together an amazing show against the Nashville Predators tomorrow night. Now, if we're going to talk about Alberta, we're going to go up to Calgary next. The southern city of Alberta now gets to host the Washington Capitals, who are coming off of a frustrating game against the Oilers. And I'm sure Flames fans are like, oh, good. It's another former Stanley Cup champion in an ornery mood after a game in Edmonton. This could get ugly. Washington comes in 4-3-2. When you look at it, Washington's below 500 right now. 4 wins, 3 losses, and 2 overtime losses. One of those is a shootout, but yeah. Anyways, Calgary's 5-5, and they're trying to avoid going 5-6 with a Capitals team in town with Karlsson in the lead and scoring with 5 goals and 9 assists. Yeah, John Karlsson's a pretty good defenseman. Turns out it wasn't just the one season. Ovechkin, 8 goals and 5 assists for him. Kuznetsov, 5 goals and 8 assists. Backstrom with 2 goals and 11 assists. Oshie with 5 goals, 4 assists. Connolly with a goal and 5 assists. Eller with a goal and 4 assists. And there's Jakub Vrana with 2 goals and 2 assists on the board as well. On the Calgary side of things, Gaudreau with 5 goals and 7 assists. Tkachuk with 3 goals and 9 assists. Lindholm with 6 goals and 3 assists. Monahan, 4 goals and 5 assists. Giordano with a goal and 6 assists. Backlund with a goal and 5 assists. Frolik with 4 goals. And Brody with 4 assists round out the scoring for the Calgary Flames. Goaltending, I don't know who this favors. Holtby's numbers have not been great this year, and I know he's played well, but the numbers seem to indicate that if he's playing well, their defense is suspect. 3.41 goals against and an .888 save percentage for Holtby. Phoenix Copley with 4.04 is his goals against, .873 is his save percentage. On the Flames side of things, everything took a dive last game. 2.37 goals against and a .933 save percentage for Riddick. I would expect him to start tomorrow, though, in favor of in place of Smith. 4.10 goals against and an .866 save percentage. And as with any game where a team gets bombed at home, you throw everything on the goalie, and Smith has been no exception. And again, this was kind of what fans outside of Calgary tried to warn Flames fans about when they signed Smith to this deal. He's older, and he's not going to be in what he was in his prime. Very good goaltender in his prime, but he is on the downside. And so now Riddick is probably going to have to play more games than was expected coming into the season. And Smith still has some more contract left. On the Washington side of things, they've outscored their opponents only 35-33. And that's including a 7-0 win over Boston early in the year. Calgary, after that 9-1 loss, they've been outscored 36-33. So their differential, not great. Washington's not fantastic. Special teams, 37.5% power play for Washington. Stay out of the box, Calgary. And their penalty kill, 72.2% for a total of 109.7. Calgary's power play, 14.6%. Their penalty kill, the same, 72.2 for a total of 86.8. So special teams have not been the friend of the Calgary Flames. And your best penalty killer is usually your goaltender. So when I see the numbers being put up by Smith, I kind of think, all right, well, that's probably in part what's going on there. There's a lot going on with Calgary, though, and if they miss the playoffs again, there's going to be some house cleaning done with Calgary. I'm not sure what you do, but there's going to be something done. Buffalo, 6-4. Columbus, 5-4. This is a big game for Buffalo, and it's early in the year, but this is a big game. If Buffalo wins this, they go 3 games over 500. And they can make some serious inroads because Montreal and Boston are against each other, so one of them's going to take a loss tomorrow. They get a win. One of those teams takes a loss. Buffalo's suddenly looking ahead of them and saying, you know what? We can track down one of the top spots in our division. Skinner leads the way in their scoring, 5 goals, 5 assists. I knew he was going to go on a hot streak sooner or later. And it strike while the iron's hot. Eichel, 3 goals and 6 assists. Pominville with 4 goals and 3 assists. Okposo, 2 goals, 4 assists. Reinhart on the board now and starting to play well, a goal and 5 assists. Sherry with 3 goals and 2 assists. McCabe, a goal and 4 assists. And don't look now, Rasmus Dahlin's on the board with a goal and 3 assists. They're modest totals, but he's a defenseman. You don't expect big numbers from a defenseman in the rookie year. On the Columbus side of things, Panarin, 3 goals, 9 assists. Atkinson, 4 goals, 4 assists. Werenski with 2 goals, 5 assists. Anderson with 5 goals and an assist. Duclair, 4 goals, 2 assists. Foligno, 3 goals, 3 assists. Murray and Wenberg both have 5 assists on that blue. Or Murray's on the blue line, Wenberg's a forward. They both have 5 assists at their respective positions. And this is a game Columbus needs at home. They went in. They lay a beating on St. Louis. Now they've got to win this one at home, maintain that momentum, and move forward. And Buffalo has to avoid just any stupidity at 5-on-5 against Columbus. Special teams, we'll talk special teams. First, goaltending. Ullmark, 0.5 goals against in 2 games played, 982 save percentage for Buffalo. And Hutton, 3.08 goals against, 905 save percentage. Middling totals, but they don't care as long as they're winning. That's the beautiful part. You can put up middling numbers, and they go, you know what? We're winning games. We might make the playoffs. Who cares? On the Columbus side of things, Korpisalo, 3.30 goals against, 898 save percentage. Bobrovsky, 3.87 goals against, 872 save percentage. Not the way to make $11 million a year if that's what you're looking for as a free agent in the summer. These kinds of numbers will scare teams off if he doesn't pick things up by the end of the year. He'll be lucky to make $2 million if his save percentage is 872 at the end of the season. Buffalo's been outscored 28-26. Columbus has been outscored 34-31, so both teams in the negative there. Special teams, Buffalo's got a 21.1% on their power play, 73.3% on the penalty kill, for a total of 94.4. Columbus, 16.7% on their power play, 71.4% on the penalty kill, for a total of 88.1. So when you're looking at it in the overall grand scheme of things, Buffalo looks like the better team. They really do. Buffalo looks like they've got the better current scoring that's going on. They have better numbers in net and mildly better numbers on special teams. And they're on the right side of things. They seem to have the momentum on their side. They've won a few in a row, so things are feeling pretty good. Can they make it 4 in a row tomorrow night in Columbus? We'll see. But I wouldn't really bet against Buffalo right now because they seem to have something going on and there's a confidence in their game I haven't seen in a long time. Chicago. So the Hawks love playing St. Louis this year. They've beaten them twice in overtime. Now they get to play them again. Chicago's 6-2-2. St. Louis is 2-4-3. And this one could be ugly. Chicago's playing well. St. Louis, not as much. And there's some lack of confidence. You've got a coach in St. Louis and Mike Yeo saying, yeah, they probably should look at firing me. It's an interesting strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it pays off for him. That's all I think with that. On the scoring side of things, Patrick Kane leads the way for Chicago with 9 goals, 5 assists. DeBrincat with 8 goals, 6 assists. Taves, 6 goals, 5 assists. Schmaltz, a goal and 6 assists, tied with Cahoon there. Seabrook, a goal and 5 assists. Keith and Yoki Haru both have 6 assists to get on the board for Chicago. On the St. Louis side of things, O'Reilly's leading in scoring, 2 goals, 9 assists. And he's playing well, and he's putting up a lot of points. But, yeah. Perron, 5 goals, 4 assists. Shen with 3 goals, 4 assists. Tarasenko gets a fluky goal. We'll see if that gets him going. 3 goals, 4 assists. Steen, 3 goals and 3 assists. Maroon has 6 assists. Dunn with 3 goals and 2 assists. And there's Parayko with 2 goals and 1 assist. Goaltending. There's no comparison right now between Chicago and St. Louis in that. Chicago is a goaltender. St. Louis, well, we'll see. Crawford, 1.52 goals against, 946 save percentage. Ward, 4.23 goals against, 885 save percentage. On the St. Louis side of things, Allen, 3.93 goals against, 876 save percentage. You know, when you look at it, would St. Louis consider trading for Bobrovsky and moving Allen to do it? Like, are we at that stage where you take 2 goaltenders that are putting up bad numbers and consider a swap and figuring out a way to sign Bobrovsky and keeping him under the cap for St. Louis? It's an interesting matter because really both goalies have not been particularly great. Johnson, 4.04 goals against and 857 save percentage for him. Now, goal differentials, Chicago has a positive at 37-24. St. Louis, absolutely understandably, has a negative at 36-29. Special teams actually favor St. Louis. 11.4% power play for the Chicago Blackhawks, 76.7% penalty kill, 88.1% overall. On the St. Louis side of things, 28.2% power play, 78.1% penalty kill, 106.3. So special teams haven't been the problem for St. Louis, which means that we're looking at 5-on-5 or not generating enough power play opportunities, or both. And with St. Louis, I wouldn't be surprised if I dug further into the numbers and found, yeah, it's both. St. Louis, if it can be done poorly right now, it seems like they're finding a way to do it. They're blowing leads late, and they've already blown leads against Chicago, and now they got Chicago coming in while they're at a low, and I don't think there's any way around it. They are at a low. Next up, don't worry, boys and girls, we're almost there. Colorado is in against Minnesota. This is always a one-sided affair, so I'm going to go ahead and predict that tomorrow night Minnesota wins at home. It's going to be this really close, tight game, and we'll see. 7-2-2 Colorado going in against 5-2-2 Minnesota. And of course, if Minnesota can win this in regulation, they tighten up that division quite a bit. The Central is looking pretty good, which again goes back to St. Louis. You guys need to figure this out because look, 6-2-2, 7-2-2, 5-2-2, 7-3-1 is the record for Winnipeg Jets, and 8-2 is the record for Nashville. There's going to be a really good team. At this stage, it looks like there's going to be a good team that's going to miss the playoffs in the Central. And St. Louis doesn't count because they have a bad record. On the scoring side of things, Mikko Rantanen, 5 goals, 15 assists, 20 points. If you're not talking about Rantanen, you're not watching Colorado. McKinnon, 9 goals, 9 assists. Landeskog, 9 goals, 6 assists. Barry with 8 assists. Soderberg, 4 goals, 3 assists. Kerfoot with a goal and 5 assists. Johnson with 6 assists. And Confer with 3 goals and an assist. Yes. 23 goals for that top line. You want to see more scoring out of everybody else. That's 23 goals out of 39. That's problematic. I mean, it's not as bad as in Edmonton, where you've got 22 goals scored and 14 of them have something to do with McDavid. But seriously, you've got 20 goals out of 39 that Rantanen's been a part of. You need more scoring from the rest of your lineup. On the Minnesota side of things, Parise, 3 goals, 8 assists. Suter, 2 goals, 7 assists. He's past the 1,000 games now. Granlund, 4 goals, 3 assists. Zucker with 4 goals, 3 assists. Koivu, 2 goals, 4 assists. Dumba with 3 goals, 2 assists. Coyle and Stahl both have 2 goals, 3 assists. I think they'd want a little more offense out of Eric Stahl. But last year he had a fantastic fountain of youth type season. And it's really hard to replicate that 2 years in a row. In net, I favor Colorado, but just barely. So so you've got Gibson, you've got Varlamov, and you got Vasilevsky. That's probably your 3 Vezina guys right now. Varlamov, 1.56 goals against, 953 save percentage. Grubauer, 2.76 goals against, average 916 save percentage. On the Minnesota side of things, Dubnyk, 1.95 goals against, 946 save percentage. And Stalock, 3.44 goals against, 879 save percentage. Goal differentials, 39-23 for Colorado, 26-24 for Minnesota, which reveals that Minnesota's winning much closer games than are the Colorado Avalanche. Special teams favors Colorado, 27.5% power play, an amazing 89.4% penalty kill for a total of 116.9. Minnesota, 11.5% power play, 84.2% penalty kill. Decent penalty killing numbers. That power play is killing them. 95.7 overall. So if Minnesota can stay out of the box, they have every chance in the world. If they can't, Colorado might make them pay, depending on how many opportunities they get. So that's going to be a very interesting game. I'll keep my eye on as much of this as I can tomorrow, I promise. Tampa Bay, 7-1 overall. They're in against the deceptively good Arizona Coyotes. To the point where I would put an Akbar sticker up here, but my Akbar stickers so far this year have produced 0 upsets. And it's so upsetting that they don't produce a single upset. They need to be alone. They need to think things over, because I have a lot of them, and these are for those trap games where it's a trap, and last year they were probably about 50-50, but this year they're batting zero. So I'm not putting a trap on this. And besides which, anybody who's been paying attention knows Arizona's playing a lot better. On the scoring side of things, Braden Point leads the way for Tampa, 6 goals, 3 assists. JT Miller, 3 goals, 6 assists. Kucherov, 3 goals, 6 assists. Gourde with 4 goals and 4 assists. Johnson, 4 goals, 2 assists. Palat with 5 assists. Stamkos, a goal and 4 assists for him. He's finally starting to put the points on the board. Hedman, 2 goals and 2 assists for him. On the Arizona side of things, Keller starting to show that what he was last year is just the beginning. 4 goals, 2 assists for him. Ekman Larsson now has 5 assists after a very slow start. Fisher with the 4 goals is third on the list, followed by Hinostroza, 2 goals, 2 assists. Stepan, 4 assists. Cousin, 3 assists. Tied with Osterley there. And Krause with 2 goals. He got the empty netter in the last game, so I thought, hey, I'll throw him on the board. And Stepan, lots of shots generated by him. Eventually they'll start going in. He'll never be a 30-goal scorer, but he should be able to get to 20. So if he can start potting goals here and there, it'll help Arizona tremendously. Now, goaltending, not as different as you might think. You'd expect this to be very, very much in the favor of Tampa. No, because Arizona's playing very well defensively. Vasilevsky, 1.83 goals against, 940 save percentage. Louis Domingue, 2.50 goals against, 934 save percentage. On the Arizona side of things, Darcy Kemper has a 1.34 goals against, 957 save percentage. Take that, rest of the league. And Ronta, 2.32 goals against, 911 save percentage. Goal differentials, Tampa Bay at 31-20. Arizona only down now 19-18. So they've only allowed 19 goals in 9 games. Yeah, they're playing pretty well. They've allowed 1 less goal than has Tampa. The 18 goals that's where the problem is. But 18 goals now in 9 games, it means they're scoring 2 goals a game. That's so much better than when they were at 0.6 goals per game, which wasn't that long ago. Special teams, yeah, they favor Tampa. 27.3% power play, 94.6% penalty kill, for a total of 121.9. They've only allowed 2 power play goals all year. Arizona, 12% power play, 91.3% penalty kill. That penalty kill is pretty excellent, and they end up with a total of 103.3. So I would not be surprised to see Arizona win this tomorrow night. If the odds are really long against Arizona, I say take it, because Arizona's been playing well, and I think the rest of the NHL is about to find out. If this team can get to 500 with the way that things are in that division, we can start talking about, hey, could Arizona be a playoff team this year? The answer is, yeah, maybe. Because the collapse in California, it doesn't look like it's just LA. It looks like Anaheim might be joining in on the collapse as well. So there you go. Long preview by my standards, by any standards. Way more than you're going to get from any other news show or sports show. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, just tap it upon this video and enjoy the hockey tomorrow. Enjoy the hockey in about 8 hours from when I'm done doing this. Game's in 8 hours. So yeah, enjoy that, and I'll talk to you again soon.